Welcome Home, a podcast for veterans about veterans by veterans, is a project of Willing Warriors and the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run.
Good morning. I'm your host, Larry Ziliox, Director of Culinary Services here at the Warrior Retreat at Bull Run. And this week, our guest is Jordyn Jareski. Did I say that right?
Jareski.
Okay. Jareski. She is the CEO of Frontline Healing Foundation, which is a nonprofit supporting veterans' mental health, and they have a lot of great programs. This is a relatively new name for them. They rebranded in 2023. Many of our listeners may know them as Warrior's Heart, which has a couple of treatment centers that do amazing work. One right here in Virginia, which is exciting. I want to talk about. Jordyn, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks, Larry. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So your prior service, Navy, and one of the questions that I always like to start with is, if you could have joined the Air Force, why did you join the Navy?
Well, I probably because my line scores on math.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Mine weren't that great either, but they took me for some reason. So tell us a little bit about your service, Navy. I noticed you were stationed in Japan for a good while, which is not a bad assignment. When did you enlist?
So I joined in 2013.
Okay. How long were you in?
Just 4 years. So I got out in 2017.
Okay. All right. And did you make a VA claim as soon as you got out?
No, I did not. I put in a VA.
So have you made a VA claim at all?
If not, nope.
You think you should, or are you planning on it?
I have pretty strong feelings when it comes to the VA. And, no, I got out and pretty immediately went into law enforcement, which offers me health care. So I felt as though I was covered. And yeah, that's just kind of my perspective on the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, as you get older, things that you did when you were in the service start to catch up with you, your hearing and all sorts of things. So, consider it. We don't want to see any of our veterans leave any benefits on the table, especially our women veterans who tend not to seek out benefits that they're entitled to, not only the care, but the financial aspect of it as well. But so you get out, and how does your transition go?
It was a lot tougher than I think I thought it would be. I originally went into the Navy with a special warfare contract by Navy because I enlisted to be a Navy diver and didn't make it through the school. So when you don't make it through special warfare, you go what's called undesignated.
Mm-hmm.
So I was sent to a ship with no job and ship grinded over a year before I did get assigned a rate. So needless to say, 18-year-old me was pretty angry at myself, and it was mostly directed at the Navy when it should have been directed inward. And so I got out, and I didn't get to do the things that I wanted to do. I was angry at the world, and I thought I didn't like the Navy, and I don't was the case. I just I didn't like my circumstances. So getting out was tough because I came to realize after it was all said and done that I love that community. So that was a difficult transition.
Mm-hmm. Do you think, was there a better way that your transition could have took place that would have helped you through it, or was it just, hey, your time's up, we'll see you, here's a plane ticket home?
Yeah, I mean, I was stationed overseas. I was in Japan, and because there's nowhere to train in Japan, I was sent to Norfolk, Virginia, to do my transfer out. But Norfolk was never home, so I didn't know my way into Norfolk prior to that. And my only interaction on base in Norfolk was just my TAPS class and, getting my DD-214. So I don't know that I interacted with anybody from the command at any point. I was simply there to process out, and that was pretty isolating. So I'm not sure differently, but that was definitely a tough spot for me.
Mm. So, how did you come to know Frontline Healing Foundation?
So, well, when I was introduced to it, it was actually called the Warriors Heart Foundation. So Warriors Heart and Warriors Heart Foundation, they were always two separate entities. So Warriors Heart's still very much so a thing. It's uh, treatment facilities, like you mentioned, one out there in Milford, Virginia, and one in Bandera, Texas. Well, I happen to live 30 minutes away from Bandera in a town called Kerrville, Texas. You may know it from the floods that we experienced here.
Oh,
At the time, I was working at the Kerrville Police Department.
mm,
I later transitioned over to the sheriff's office, but I was going through a lot of personal struggles, particularly with alcohol. Friends of mine from the department, they started training jujitsu, and being the good, motivated young cop that I started training jujitsu as well, and went to a competition in San Antonio, and that's where I met the owner of Warriors Heart, Josh Lannon,
mm.
and he invited me out to come to the property. At that time, they were training once a week on Sundays, so the clients that were inpatient at the time could come do jujitsu, and he invited me out, and yeah, I fell in love with the place, and I don't really know that I've left since.
Well, you're the CEO, so I don't think so. Wow. Well, okay. This is this is a great story because I I really love it when people, they just stumble into an organization and things just click, and it happened to be sort of what you were looking for, maybe not even looking for, but what you needed at the time, and then all of a sudden it
Yep.
was just placed there in front of you, and things start to happen, and you get to see the amazing work that they do. And then there's got to be a point where you come on staff and you say, this is what I really want to do.
Yeah, it was interesting because I was always sort of trying to find where I fit. I was working full time in law enforcement, so my time was limited as far as what I could dedicate. But I knew that my heart was out there in the work that was being done. So and that just goes again back to the owners, to Josh and Lisa Lannon and Tom Spooner. They started inviting me. They're very big on personal development with the staff. And so the staff will do regular personal development trainings with a coach called Blair Singer. He's one of the Rich Dad Poor Dad guys with Robert Kiyosaki, and they
Mm.
would host all these personal development trainings. And even though I wasn't a staff member, I was invited to every one of them. And I think that door really opened for me because I always said yes, and I was always willing to learn and be a part of those trainings. That went on for a while. The jujitsu program expanded significantly. We now have jujitsu 3 times a week. We have a huge gym on campus. I became a big part of that as far as training with the clients while they're in, and then we also have a competition team that goes around the country and competes. So my presence out at the property just kind of started growing more and more. And then in 2023, as you mentioned, the Warriors Heart Foundation needed to change its name because folks thought that the foundation and Warriors Heart itself were the same entity, and like I said, they never have been.
Hmm.
Warriors Heart is a private business, and then there was the nonprofit side. So to alleviate some of that confusion, they went for the rebrand, and that was their opportunity to bring on one full-time employee. And when it was offered to me, I just jumped in head first.
And so, Frontline Healing Foundation, do you fund directly fund by giving a grant to a veteran medical treatment, or do you fund facilities where veterans can go to get subsidized treatment?
Yeah, great question. So we call them hardship applications. So if a veteran or first responder is, and typically all of our applicants already know where they're going. So say Larry, you reach out to Warriors Part and you say, I need help. I need to get into treatment. I don't have insurance. The VA won't cover me. Whatever the case may be, they'll direct you to us. And all that we require is some sort of a proof of a financial hardship. So we ask for 90 days of bank statements, and when we can see, and it's usually pretty easy to tell that nobody can afford inpatient substance use treatment out of pocket. That's when we will pay the facility directly, but it is specifically for that warrior.
Mm-hmm. And is it any particular facility, or do you guys have vetted locations and companies, organizations that you would direct them to for treatment?
Yeah. So, like I said, most of the time when they apply, they already know where they're going. However, if they do apply and they don't, for inpatient treatment, our vetted facilities are Warriors Heart and a facility called Deer Hollow out of Utah. What's nice about that is Warriors Heart is a substance use primary, so you have to have that dual diagnosis, the substance use PTS TBI, and Deer Hollow is PTS primary. They don't do the substance use thing, so it works hand in hand. And then as far as sober living goes or continuation of care, we have a couple other facilities that we work with kind of on a case by case basis for that. But the fact of the matter is that we reach our limit with hardship requests every year just for the two facilities that we work with. So we just don't have the ability to grow beyond that at this point.
Something you said kind of caught my attention is that the Utah facility works with PTS but not substance abuse. Is that right?
Correct. Yes.
So how many, I mean, I gotta believe that a lot of veterans that are dealing with PTS, TBI also have substance abuse issues because they're self-medicating. So how often do you see somebody who's eligible to go to the Utah facility because they have PTS, but they don't have substance abuse issues?
Yeah, I mean, we see it a lot, definitely we do have the guys that'll call and say that they are self-medicating. And that's absolutely when they'd be a great fit for Warriors Heart. But equally we'll receive phone calls where guys are at the end of their rope and I swear I've never touched a bottle and I've never even thought about it. I'm just struggling with my PTS, and that's when they fit into Deer Hall. It's not for everybody. It's a very intensive trauma inpatient. So, and Deer Hollow will say that themselves. We're not for everybody. It's intense. It's hard work.
How many veterans do you all assist in a fiscal year, do you think?
So typically we land at about the 100 to 150 mark that we can support. That being said, we do receive probably 200 to 250 applications a year.
And your facility in Texas, is that for treatment or is that just for the nonprofit?
So the facility in Texas is Warriors Heart. And again, they're separate.
Right.
That is the substance use primary facility.
Okay. So some of the areas too, which I thought were very interesting, you have the PTS treatment, substance abuse, TBI, depression and suicide prevention, and long-term recovery and reintegration. What do you see the most need? Where is the most need landing for, if you were to sort of survey your clients, the veterans that you're helping, what's the number one, number two issue that they're coming to you with?
As far as diagnosis?
Yeah, treatment needs.
Treatment needs, definitely inpatient substance use. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the VA has a policy that if you Warriors Heart and Deer Hollow are both within the community care network for the VA. However, when it comes to substance use, the VA has a policy that you have to fail the VA's substance use treatment 3 times before they will refer you to community care. And most guys don't make it long enough to fail 3 times.
Yeah. Is there any kind of ability to get treatment in the community if there's not a VA facility within a certain distance?
What's interesting is if you don't have a VA within a certain distance, you actually have a better shot at getting the community care referral. Because that's one of the deciding factors. So if you are more rural, you are more likely to receive that community care referral.
Right. And when you're rural, you're in more need of services because you're rural too. I mean, we see a higher suicide rate with rural veterans than we do those within certain proximity of VA facilities. But
absolutely, I mean, community is a huge part of recovery, not just substance use recovery. But again, like I said, when I was getting out, it was that isolation that really took the biggest toll on me. And I've seen that a lot. You know, we kind of joke as veterans that we're all going to move to Montana and raise cows and live alone and hunt and live off the land because we think that's what we want and we don't want to be around society. And I have quickly come to learn that never works out quite the same. And we need our community. We need our people. That's where we thrive.
Yeah, that's one of the top things that veterans miss the most is their tribe and being with that special group of people that would do anything for you. You know, and so it is really so important. And there's a great number of, you know, irreverent warriors, red, white, and blue. There's a great number of organizations out there that are working to try and bring that veteran out of isolation in situations where they're alone, and to be with other veterans, and it's just great. Listeners, I want you to go to the webpage and check out the organization. It's frontlinehealingfoundation.org. Go there. You can see all the different programs that they have, the work that they're doing. There's a donate button right in the middle. Bang on it. Give what you can. You can see their 990s, and you can take a look and see how they spend their money. You'll be able to see that Jordyn is grossly underpaid for the work that she does. But please check out the webpage and think about, is this something that you need help with? Have you not gotten treatment or help for PTS, TBI, substance abuse because you don't have insurance, because you're not getting help from the VA? There's no reason not to get help. There's 55,000 veteran service organizations in this country, and a lot of them are doing all the same thing, which is a point of contention sometimes. But there's organizations out there to help you, and Frontline Healing Foundation is one of them. And Jordyn is there to make sure that if they can help you, they will help you. They will pay for your treatment. Now, on the other hand, the Compact Act allows you to get emergency mental health care at any facility anywhere in the country for treatment, and the VA will pay for it. That's the law. Now, for prolonged treatment, you're going to need to find a facility, and they can help you do that, and they can help pay for your treatment. So please take a look at the webpage, check it out. Donate if you can. If you're thinking of somebody that's a battle buddy or someone that who's a veteran that you think might benefit from this, please share that link with them and post it out on your social media. Send it to your Facebook group of buddies and let everybody know about this organization. I did notice, Jordyn, that you guys have a gala coming up in May. Is that right?
That is right. Yep. We have our annual gala this May 30th here in San Antonio.
That's at a ranch in San Antonio.
It is. It's called Pedrati's Ranch. It's not quite as maybe not quite what you're picturing, but there is a rodeo arena there, so maybe it is what you're picturing.
Oh, I was picturing a lot of cows wandering around and stuff like that. I mean, that's what I think of when I hear a ranch. That's a yearly thing, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
And do you have any other fundraising events?
We do. We actually have one a little bit closer to you that you might be interested. So we do a fundraiser in the fall. This year it'll be October 17th, right outside of Camp Lejeune in Sneads Ferry, North Carolina. We do a block party. It's a retired MARSOC out of Lejeune that puts on this block party. He owns a tattoo shop and a gun store there in Sneads Ferry, and we shut the block down. We play music. We play elementary school field day games, and you wouldn't believe me if I told you, but last year we had over 200 Marines out there, and there was not a drop of booze and not a single fight.
Jeez.
It was just a really good time and really good people.
Wow. Yeah, I just recorded an episode with the CEO of the Marine Raider Foundation, and that'll be coming up, listeners, here in a couple weeks. But that's great. And why there? How did that come about? I mean, that's totally opposite side of the country of you guys.
It is, but we do have a lot of connections out in North Carolina. Tom Spooner, the founder of Warriors Heart, he retired from the unit out of Delta Force, and so a lot of our friends are still in that Fayetteville area. And then Coy, who's actually the owner of the tattoo shop, the Marsaw guy, he found a lot of his healing when he got out of the Marine Corps in tattooing and doing art. So he actually came up to Warriors Heart there in Virginia and taught a tattooing class. So he brought up all the fake skin and taught the guys how to tattoo. And that's a big passion of his, is artwork and tattooing. So he's a huge supporter of the foundation and has been a really great friend to us.
Wow. Well, that's awesome. So listeners, look for that if you're in the in that area down by Camp Lejeune in the fall. Check out the webpage. I'm sure you're going to put something up on the webpage. And then of course, if you're in the tech, what's the closest city you're close to down there? Like
in Texas,
yeah.
San Antonio.
Okay, so if you're in the San Antonio area, you want to check out the gala, which is coming up in May. It's a great way to get out there and support an amazing organization that's doing incredible work. And what I really like about the Frontline Healing Foundation is that they're doing something that 12 or 15 other nonprofits aren't doing. So there's so much duplication in this veteran service organization space. It's just ridiculous. And to have an organization like this that has found a point in this space that's not being addressed and moving into that area and taking care of veterans that need it, that were otherwise being overlooked, and we're going without treatment. And we all know what that means. When that veteran goes without treatment, it affects their family. It raises the rate of justice involvement. It raises the rate of suicide, raises the rate of homelessness, and anything that we can do to get fellow veterans the treatment that they're entitled to and that they need, we need to do, and we need to direct them towards Frontline Healing Foundation. Jordyn, where would you like to see the organization, say, in 3 to 5 years?
Oh goodness, that's always a tough one because I'm sure you know because you talk to a lot of folks in this space, but sometimes fundraising feels like you're running on a treadmill, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One thing, and you kind of said this, but I think one thing that really sets Frontline Healing Foundation apart is that we are serving those underserved populations. So whether that be conventional military, pre 9/11, first responders in any capacity, we're casting a very wide net. And I think that's starting to be recognized. We have a lot of affiliations with some big, soft, specific nonprofits. We're a part of the SOCOM Warrior Care Coalition, and which is a fantastic resource because anytime I get a member of the soft community that reaches out, I could name 10 organizations right off the bat that I know will support them. But if I get a conventional military member, somebody who served 2 years during the invasion, or someone who served pre 9/11, or a first responder, that resource list is one or none. So I think we're doing something that nobody else is doing, like you said. And what I'd like to see in the next 3 to 5 years is I think that gets recognized, and I would like to be able to meet the demand. That's all I really care about is never telling anybody no. So in order to do that, based off of our current application rate, we need to be about a $2.5 million nonprofit, and that's where my sights are set right now.
Well, we wish you all the luck. Listeners, again, frontlinehealingfoundation.org. Go ahead and hit that donate button, give what you can. $5, $10, everything helps. $1 million, $2 million, it all helps. But please take a look at the webpage, share the webpage, and give what you can. Jordyn, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Larry. I appreciate it.
Well, listeners, we'll have another episode next Monday morning at 0500. You have any questions or suggestions, you can reach us at podcast@willingwarriors.org. You can find us on all the major podcast platforms. We're on YouTube and Wreaths Across America Radio. So until then, thanks for listening.
The Welcome Home podcast is brought to you by Willing Warriors, a nonprofit organization serving active duty service members and veterans since 2012. To learn more, please visit our webpage at willingwarriors.org.